put my phone down. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scofie Sessions. My name is Jonathan Schofield, but my friends call me Scofie. And if you are watching us live on LinkedIn or YouTube, or you are watching this recording back later, we are so glad that you are here with us. If this is your first time, Scofie Sessions is simply my shameless excuse to hang out with cool people, friends of mine, peers, subject matter experts, folks in the industry that I just find darn fascinating. And if you get some value out of our time together, that's a plus in my opinion. So thank you so much for joining us. Today's special guest is no exception, and we'll give him a chance to introduce himself in more detail here shortly. But Ethan Milrood, currently of LiveTech, but we're going to learn a lot more about his story than just that today. And today's topic is a unique one, because normally we come at these Scofie sessions from a topical perspective. We pick and choose some type of soapbox to climb up on and explore it and have some fun with it. But today is going to be a little different. From kitchen to cloud, a story of discovery for work, life, and leadership. Okay. So when Ethan and I first connected, he shared with me some of his story. I found it really compelling, something that I think a lot of my peers and colleagues in the industry will resonate with. And some of the things that he's discovered along the way that he shared with me, I thought would be really interesting to bring to you. So Ethan, so thrilled that you are here with us today. Take a second to introduce yourself and say hi to our viewers. Thanks, Jonathan. It's great to be on the show today. I've really been looking forward to this. Hey, my name's Ethan Milrood, and I am the Director of Business Development and Partnerships for a company called LiveTech. LiveTech is an objective technology advisory firm that helps businesses and their IT leaders simplify the tech landscape, especially focused on things like voice services, UCaaS, contact center, connectivity with some AI sprinkled into that as well. We partner with over 350 different best of breed providers to help ensure they were laser focused and ensuring our clients have a non-biased approach to helping them with their technology.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ethan. And I'm already learning stuff today. For example, I've been mispronouncing your last name, Milrood. So we'll clear that up right now. Milrood, that's great. That's great. If you are watching this with us currently or in the future, don't be shy. Today is meant to be collaborative and engaging. There's not a ton of structure for these. If you've never been here before, we'd love to hear from you. So we already have our very own Jess in the chat saying, hi, glad you're here, Jess. She also popped up the website for LiveTech as well. Encourage folks to go check that out.
It's livetechinc.com, Jess.
Oops, we got it wrong. livetechinc.com.
Yep.
So I'm sure she'll rectify that here in a second and drop the right one in. But say hi in the chat. And there'll be points throughout this conversation where we may ask you questions, or you may, something might strike a chord with you and you just have some commentary you'd like to share. Do not be shy. And she just said, all right, we'll drop your LinkedIn URL in here instead. Awesome. So go connect with Ethan if you've not before. All right, so now we've got about 20 minutes or so together, 20 plus minutes, Ethan. When you and I spoke, and you were sharing a little bit of your background and story with me. You had some interesting things to share, things that you brought from the industry that launched you from the before times to the current times, and things that you learned then that have impacted your world today. I would love for you to share that story here, and then for us to kind of dig into some of those discoveries you made.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to share. So yeah, I mean, my life has really been two careers, if you will. The first being in the restaurant business. I spent many years in the restaurant business. And then in the last 30 years or so plus, I've been focused in the world of telecom technology and IT. And I found that, the restaurant business really helped me learn the discipline, preparation, and anticipation skills to thrive under pressure, and carry them forward into the career that I'm in today in the technology world. I talk to people that have spent time in the restaurant business in the past, whether they waited tables, they're a bartender, or they did prep work, or they were a chef or front of the house. And I always find that they echo the same thing, that the restaurant business really helped them prepare for their future. And if they didn't have that opportunity to learn the restaurant business or learn from the restaurant business, they wouldn't be the people that they are today.
So I'd be curious to know, anyone who is watching could also say the same. Do you have your roots in the restaurant, food services industry, et cetera, et cetera? If that's you, let us know. Ironically, literally this week, Ethan, I am training an entry-level business development rep from one of my MSP partners, and we're liberating him from a restaurant that he's become like a front of house manager in. And we're chucking him into the IT services space. And he's not the first person that I've done this with, where someone who came from food services, I've brought into the industry myself. In your case, it sounds like this was more than just a job you had, though, prior to this. It was a career. Oh, yeah. Tell us a little bit about your food services restaurant career.
Yeah. Well, I started young. First of all, I'm one of 7 kids. So if anybody comes from a big family, oftentimes you realize real quick that you got to earn your own way and make your own money. So I took a job at a pizza shop when I was probably 12 or 13 years old. And I had the great opportunity to learn that business from the ground up. They were looking for a kid to come in who could sweep floors and clean the bathroom and do all the grunt work, the dirty work that most of the kids didn't want to do. I embraced that. I came in and, I started from the ground up, and I learned really every aspect of the business, not just the dirty work, but ultimately I learned how to prep, the importance of preparation. I eventually went to be like one of the sandwich guy, or I did the grill. And eventually I worked my way all the way up to being the pizza guy. And if anybody has been in the pizza restaurant before, being the pizza guy or girl, for those of you out there, it really is the highest level in the shop. And usually that person also runs the store as well. So, at 15 or 16, I was spinning pizza and making hundreds of pizzas a day. But really, it gave me this great opportunity to learn the business inside and out. Eventually, I left, I grew up outside of Philadelphia. I left to go to college. I went to NYU. And while I was in New York City, I had the pleasure of engaging with people that were also in the restaurant business or looking to start restaurants. And it just lent itself really nicely to the experience that I had. And I, moved forward and continued my career in the restaurant business, really working, again, on all aspects of the restaurant, and eventually becoming the front of the house and running restaurants in New York City. So not just a restaurant, but restaurant in New York City, which
that's right,
always high pressure, high intensity, high volume, and a great environment to really hone your skills.
I'm thinking of a lot of the folks that I know in the IT services space, and I'm trying to think how well some of those adjectives you've used apply to their world. And I'd wonder if you're an IT provider watching today, if you ever feel like you're the one doing the dirty work for clients. the hard work that nobody else maybe wants to do. And I'm sure sometimes it may feel like that for some of my partners and friends in the industry. Also, high pressure, need for discipline and preparation. And I think I can see it. I think I can see some of the parallels starting to shape. Tell me a little bit about what was the catalyst for the shift?
So I wanted to be back close to family. My father passed away in the mid 90s. He passed away young. And like I said, I'm one of 7 kids. I saw that as an opportunity to leave New York City and come back and be near home again. And I had worked one summer home from college in a small interconnect company, telemarketing, reselling long distance. And believe it or not, ultimately selling fax machines door to door. For those of you who can remember that fax machines weren't always available via Amazon or Staples or Office Depot, right? And I looked up the guy who I worked for while home from college one summer, and he gave me a job right away in the mid 90s, and the rest is history. I've been in the business ever since.
Wow. Okay. So that would count as a significant catalyst, a significant loss in the family in the form of your father coming back home, taking a hands-on role in the family and doing what you could. And then one domino led to another. And then here you are. Now, at some point in all of this, you found yourself in the managed services world. And I'd love to learn a little bit more about that leg of the journey.
Yeah. So I actually was partners in a managed service provider up until about 5 months ago. And I sold my share of the business to my partners. I had a great experience helping to run the MSP with my partners for almost 11 years. And just recently, like I said, I sold my share to my partners, passed the baton on to them. And had a great opportunity to join LiveTech. And it's interesting, one of the things, it never really dawned on me how the restaurant business truly paralleled and helped me prepare for what I do and how I do it in the field of technology. And it recently really dawned on me. I've been reading a book by Dan Charnas called Work Clean. And Dan really helped me connect the dots. The book is all about how chefs follow this golden rule, which is, if anybody's been in the restaurant business, the term mise en place, which is a French saying for kind of put in place. And chefs follow this to kind of set up their stations and rules to follow as they cook, or really a restaurateur runs their business. And as I'm reading the book, it really dawned on me that that's really what I've been doing my whole career, whether it was in the restaurant business or in the field of technology. The way that I work, the way that I operate, the way that I'm structured, the way that I prepare, and do the work that I do to help my customers really was born out of and evolved out of what I learned in the restaurant business. And Dan, in his book, often talks about mise en place, the three P's in mise en place, which are preparation, process, and presence. Preparation, be ready before the action starts. Process, follow a proven path for consistency. And presence, stay engaged so you can adapt in real time. These are all skills that I learned in the restaurant business that I carry forward today, and I use today to help our customers. And when I was presented with the opportunity to join LiveTech, it really was exciting for me because LiveTech is a very client-centered, very process and mission-driven company, technology-focused. And what really attracted me, or one of the main things that attracted me, was the process that we follow, a proven methodology to help our customers that starts with the customer's goal in mind and ends with results, not unlike we did in the restaurant business.
I'm getting goosebumps a little bit because I think we can all speak to that experience we've had in the restaurant world as a consumer, right? Where we've walked in and we've had a poor dining experience. And you can pinpoint, if you're paying attention, the reasons why the experience maybe was subpar, right? And I would imagine If you are looking at it, overlaying this mise en place, am I saying it right?
Yep.
On top of the experience, one of those P's is going to be the reason why. Either something wasn't prepared, there's no process being followed, or there's been a breakdown in process. And then presence, that one at first maybe seems a little more nebulous, but I would imagine, and you can inform this a little bit more because you're the expert here, but presence, when I think of that in the experience component, is like the people and how you interact with each other, and how you present the experience to the customer, and like the unified front that you and your team bring to bear to those that enter your restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. And now I'm trying to like draw all of these parallels to the IT services world. And there's kind of two different types of IT providers right now. There's those that are chasing fires, and they're constantly, running around responding with little proaction, and the customer is kind of the one driving their own experience. Like, hey, IT provider, I need this. Get me this thing. I need this thing, rather than the service provider taking ownership of that customer experience, doing the preparation, putting in the work, and being able to define and execute on a process effectively and efficiently that's going to enable you to provide that presence between you as the service provider and the end customer. Am I off? What am I missing here, Ethan?
No, I think it's so true. I think it really is all about anticipation and adaptability and the mastery of the unexpected, Jonathan. So, obviously preparation is key. If you're not prepared, it's so difficult to deal with the things that kind of the curveballs that come at you. But the more that you gain experience in really whatever industry that you're in, whether it be the restaurant business or others, it really helps in that preparation and the mastery of the unexpected. And it's super important also to put yourself in someone else's shoes, right? What are you going to expect when you're sitting down and you're having a nice meal? Or what are you expecting when your consultant is coming to you and is putting in front of you 3 different options to ensure your technology needs are met, going over each of the options, educating the client, informing them about the options, and helping them make the right decision, all anticipating, 2 steps ahead, how that decision, the consequences of making that decision are going to play out for them.
That's right. Oh man, I see it so very much. If you are an IT service provider and you're watching this right now, if you're in the industry or connected to this industry in any way, what has been your observation? Do you see any parallels between these 3 Ps, preparation, process, and presence, in your own practice or in the practices of your peers around you? Is there a different P that you would swap out? Is there something that you think is missing from this equation? Because as I'm hearing Ethan share, to me, it's becoming like incredibly obvious. So you've got the mature MSP that documents everything, that has learned. They've got the battle scars from, doing it the hard way earlier on, but they don't just continue to accrue those scars. They've learned from them. So now they can have a better idea of what to anticipate, right? And be ready to adapt, and without preparation, you're always going to be on this defensive side of running the business, where the things are just flying at you and you're, swatting at them desperately, hoping that there's satisfactory answers, versus like, no, this is our job. It's up to us to facilitate this for ourselves and for our customers. So we're going to do the work. We're going to define the process, and we're going to show up and provide that experience for customers. I love that. I absolutely love that, Ethan.
Yeah.
And now, how is it? You've just recently exited your MSP, and now you're doing this with LiveTech. And I know maybe like the rosy glasses are still being worn as you're kind of easing into this new world, but you tell me, like, how do you see this driving your experience with LiveTech moving forward? And what do you wish other folks knew?
Yeah. I mean, look, my experience with my MSP was an amazing one. I love what we achieved together. We built an MSP from 11 employees to 45 or so. When I left, we were an award-winning MSP, and just amazing experiences that I gained. And I'm taking everything that I learned before and applying it with what I'm doing here for our customers at LiveTech today. Not just with our customers, but with our team as well. And I have a fantastic team here at LiveTech. Another thing that really enticed me to join the organization is I'm surrounded by people not unlike people that have come out of the restaurant business and have been doing it for years and years and years. You know, all the people at LiveTech have been in the field of telecom and technology for decades. As a matter of fact, the gentleman who owns the company, Mark Lawton, he and I worked together 30 years ago at Sprint Telecom. Another guy that I work with, we worked together 20 years ago at Quest. So it's fantastic being surrounded by people that have a lot of experience, a lot of competencies, and together we're working, in unison and uniformly to help our customers follow the process, follow the mission, and make sure our customers have what they need and are being successful. And at the end of the day, it's not unlike the restaurant business. It's all about CX. Right? We talk about that in our field in technology all the time, the customer experience.
That's right.
Making sure the customer experience is an awesome one. And not unlike being in the restaurant business where, you go to a table as the host, you're always checking in with the client to see how their experience is. We do the same thing at LiveTech. We check in with our customers. We set up weekly calls with our clients to make sure that they have what they need and are satisfied. And if anything shows up that is of concern, it's giving us a great opportunity to be nimble and respond to that and not let things fester and ensure that the customer experience is an awesome.
I love it. I love it so very much. So the third bullet point on our agenda for today, I kind of just extrapolated this from our conversations as I was putting this all together and tying in from what I know about you and the story you shared, owning your mindset, right? So my light just turned off.
You're still there.
I know. I just got a big shadow now. There, now it's back. All right. I'll probably have a bulb replacement in my near future.
Flashing light on the car when the turn signal's going out. You're there.
Right. That's right. Oh, my man Joe Goldstein just shared an interesting comment. As an MSP, if you're not a customer service organization first, another one like us will. Yeah. Hey, experience is everything. And what you said, Ethan, about CX absolutely rings so true. If all you are to your customer is a line item in their budget, you should be very nervous. You should be extremely nervous because a race to the bottom is one that no one ever wins. And technology is one of those things where there's always someone who will do it cheaper. There's always someone who will do it different and find a way to cut a corner. And now all of a sudden you become a very replaceable thing. But if you are the partner that delivers a powerful, meaningful, positive experience to the customer, honestly, the number is completely secondary to the experience, and they're going to stick with you no matter what because they crave that experience and they grow to need that experience. And you're right, Joe. If you're not giving it to them, someone else will. Do you have any comments for Joe on this, Ethan?
I'm in complete agreement with him. At the end of the day, if you're not laser focused on the outcome, which is at the end of the day, the customer experience. We talk about it all the time in technology. Customers oftentimes don't really care about the bits and bytes of stuff, the granularity of things. All they want to make sure is, you go back in the day when I used to sell phone systems.
That's
customers used to say to me all the time, they just want them to work. When I pick up the phone and make a call, I just wanted to go through and I want that quality to be crystal clear. That's all they cared about. They don't really care about all of the stuff that went behind that. If you are focused on the customer experience and that outcome, you just can't go wrong. And it breeds confidence. So the more that you do it, and the more that your customers are giving you feedback that they're happy, you're recognizing that you're doing the right thing, you're tweaking things along the way to make sure that your processes are ensuring that that's going to be the outcome. But, statistically, the outcome is going to be a great one because you have a proven process, you have a proven approach, and each and every time the end result is a happy customer. You're not going to win them all, every once in a while, for whatever reason, you're not going to hit the mark. But, most of the time, if you follow those things, you will.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Joe also shares, I share with my team on a regular basis. We're a customer service organization that happens to provide technology services. Yeah, it's like we're a pizza restaurant. We're a pizza restaurant, and we just happen to have an oven in the back.
Exactly.
Do you really care about the oven that the pizza place has? Maybe to the extent that it creates an incredible pizza. Maybe if I've been to your restaurant multiple times and you've blown my mind with the experience, maybe I'm curious now, how are they able to do this? And maybe your oven has something to do with it. But on the front end, your customer generally, to your point, Ethan, doesn't care about the bits and the bytes. To your point, Joe, technology services just happens to be the vehicle by which you deliver that customer service experience. This is so great. Now, we are about to wrap up and run out of time here. Yeah. Owning your mindset is the final bullet point that we have here. And I feel like so much of what we've explored today, mindset is a critical component to all of it. So you shared with us your journey in the food services restaurant industry, and it sounds like that informed your mindset, this idea of mise en place, presentation, process, presence, et cetera, et cetera. What would your words of advice be to somebody who's listening to this right now and they feel like their house is not in order? They're not providing that experience to the customer. They're chasing their tail, trying to figure out how to survive, responding to things flying at them. What's the first thing that you would say as a suggestion to somebody who's seeking to own their mindset in these ways? What should they do first?
I mean, to make sure that you're true to your approach to things and stick to that. If you find that you are successful in a specific way to approach with your customers and helping them, stick to that mindset. Check in with your team, check in with your peers to see if what you're doing could be adjusted. Check in with your clients. Make sure that your clients are providing you with feedback to continually help you hone your skills, hone your mindset, and hone your approach to doing what you feel as though is the best approach to being successful and helping your customers be successful.
I think that's incredibly practical advice, Ethan. If you feel like you're struggling in these areas, owning your mindset and providing these experiences to customers, you don't necessarily need to make decisions based on how you feel. Go talk to the customers you interface with every day. And, hey, I seek to facilitate an experience for you that is above and beyond the call of duty. Are you getting anything less than that from me, in your opinion? And how can I level that up for you? Those are great questions to ask. They're going to require some vulnerability on your part to hear the answer, right? Yeah. And some maybe humility to take it and to incorporate it, and some proactive steps. And I think that would be my advice to anyone in this area. Listen to Ethan first and go ask your peers, ask your partners, your customers for feedback on the experiences you're providing them, and then take it. And it's going to require some disciplined effort on your part. You said preparation, and at the very beginning, you threw out the big D word, discipline, right? And I think that's absolutely critical. If you feel a gap in any area of your career, your venture, your personal life, nothing changes until you change it,
That's so
this is really, really great. Now we're running fast out of time. So as we come to a conclusion here, Ethan, I just want to thank you again for being here. It's been a real pleasure having you. I'd love for you to take just a minute or two to share with our viewers a little bit more about LiveTech, who should care, who should reach out to Ethan, and how is the best way for them to do so before we wrap up.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jonathan. It's been great. I really appreciated the time today and I've enjoyed the conversation, and hopefully the audience is getting some stuff out of it. As I mentioned before, at LiveTech, we're a technology advisory firm. We work primarily with large to enterprise organizations that recognize that they need an objective advocate to help them with their technology needs, especially in the areas of things like voice services. So large phone systems, we excel in the contact center arena, as well as providing network connectivity solutions to our clients, and some cybersecurity as well. And nowadays, we live in the world of AI. So there's AI sprinkled into all of those technologies to help ensure that those are the right technologies and solutions for our customers. You can reach us at livetechinc.com. I can be reached directly at 484-773-1333. That's my direct number. And my email address is emillrod, EMILLROOD @livetechinc.com. Would love to hear from you.
Well, Ethan, this has been a sincere joy and a privilege to have you. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. If you're watching this, you're about to see a brief outro video that has a few other ways that you can consume this content. You want to follow us on YouTube, on TikTok, or everywhere else that we're doing stuff. More places than I know how to keep track of these days. Feel free to scan that QR code and follow us on other channels. And we will catch you all next time. Be well.
Take care.